one that essentially goes as back as the exceptions. So we're looking at ways that we deal with the exceptions. And some of the things we're looking at introducing are purchase cards to be used for the frequent small value purchases. It's perhaps not appropriate to have a purchase order in advance. So we're looking at, in terms of the 10-day payment, we're introducing this, we're contacting the small and medium enterprises and putting them onto a system that if they accept that we'll only be paid if they have a purchase order in advance, we'll guarantee to pay them within 10 days. And we're rolling that out now. I don't have the figures with me, but the performance on the 10-day for the small and medium enterprises has improved. I think it's around 50 to 60% at the moment, but we're looking to get that up to 90% by sort of getting these small businesses signed up to no pay, so they'll have a purchase. We'll guarantee payment in 10 days, provided their invoices are supposed by a purchase order.
Just to comment first on Mark said in terms of the rules from asking officers for answers. Don't make sure that all the council officers are here to pick the points in these questions. Can we do that in future meetings? Every council officer should be here to answer points. They shouldn't be asking somebody else to answer points in the rules tables again.
The approach we're taking, especially in this committee and the board committee, is when there's an exception being reported, that the council officers will be asked to attend the meeting so they can present on the exception and answer the questions.
Well, I think Mark's points about sharing gaps in information is an exception.
Well, Jim Malloy, as another council officer, was here to answer, present on that exception and answer questions on that exception.
If we're not going to be able to challenge council officers, then what's the point of having council officers?
Yeah.
They're not all here. They're not all here. Look at your list.
Just a minute. I mean, clearly what we're trying to do is try to support the Policy Performance Committee in terms of trying to limit the role of function of the performance framework so that it can be focused and drilled down, hence the focus on the exception reporting. I mean, hopefully in terms of having one of the strategic directors as the chair of each of the policy performance means that hopefully we can give you an answer straight away. We can certainly take that back and turn that around very fast indeed. But we are trying to make sure that it's a focused meeting, but we can't anticipate everything. But I do appreciate the point, and if we can draw people in, it's not to say that there are plenty of accountable officers on this particular sheet in terms of transformation resources, and make sure we want to make sure we're trying to use the time appropriately.
I mean, just in response to that, for the first time in a long time, I actually feel like I'm being given a level of information now that at least we allow them to spot the problem. So, in fairness to officers, this is a significant move forward. And, I think as long as the minutes pick up the questions that we're asking, and then that information doesn't wait for the next meeting of the cycle, I think that's where it's important. So I know, the other committee that I sit on, almost the day after any response, to a difficult question, and the officer's not there, the information's not there, it's travel. So as long as that happens,
Really just a comment on the actual document, the dashboard documents itself, how approved it is. There was comments in the past, obviously, some black and white, etc. I've got a comment section on it now, and I just like to congratulate Representative Swanson for doing that.
Chair. Unfortunately, those of us who deputise and we haven't had a version. We've got the extremely small black and white version. But my question really was about exception reports. It would be helpful, I think, to have exception reports when there's an indicator that's beginning to move in the wrong direction. So you can see this. I might not reach red yet. The member might wish to
is standing items on the agenda, and the idea of this is to provide a snapshot from members of the committee of the potential policy items, potential rules that are going to be coming down on track in the future, but it will be at a global level. So really it's an opportunity for members of the committee to consider these relevant facts, to consider if they want any specific reports or items to be included in the work they want.
Is this agenda item 6?
I'll explain.
It's 5.
I'll explain. Anyone any comments? We've had that before, so one item number 6.
Well, I'm talking about James Item 5, trying to
Well, yeah, I'm glad
moving on to 6,
yeah, I'm glad you spotted the mistake. So we're happy with agenda item 6. Okay. No one wants to judge us and apologies to the committee for the
Obviously, Jim's here, Jim Lloyd's here in terms of anything that, in terms of technical detail, but I suppose skipping over item 5, I would have actually drawn you right back to it's a good news item on the agenda in terms of our particular budget position. You see item 3.4 at this particular juncture, heading for £246,000 underspend on our annual budget. That said, that does also mask some of the challenges that we have, in particular around the budget implementation plan at 3.51. So whilst we take some comfort in terms of the current underspend, we continue to regularly monitor to make sure that that underspend becomes the reality that we wish for. So, don't think any specific other comments we'd like to make so far. Jim on the start for that, any questions?
Anyone any comments or questions?
Does this report take into account the 1.5 million, 5% of that debt you're expecting?
Yes, it does. What we do on debts, for all debts, is that we set a percentage provision for bad debt, for non-recovery, and we review that from time to time. And if you remember when we had the Eugene Sullivan report, we reported that our bad debt provision was probably insufficient because we discovered we had quite a lot of old debt that we were collecting. So we're just in the process of the audit of last year's accounts, so just about to be signed off, and we reviewed the provisions part of that again. And because we had collected a lot of money since the Eugene Sullivan report, we didn't need the level of bad debt provision that we'd assumed in that report. It's going the right way, if you like. So we continually review the bad debt provision. We don't assume that we're going to collect 100% of debt, although whatever we collect, it clearly helps. We will review the bad debt provision, and hopefully at the end of this financial year, we may be able to actually put something back into balances from the bad debt provision.
Thanks, Chair. Jim, 3.6.4 on page 62, which talks about customers will refuse to engage with the council, or deductions or an attachment is not possible and will have no alternative or threatened bailiffs to attempt to correct this debt. I've got a couple of queries. How many people do you think will then have to pursue with bailiffs, and does the council have a prescribed list of bailiffs to use? Because some are more well sort of than
I think I'll refer to my little friend Malcolm on this one.
Again, through you, Chair. Yes, what we've tried to highlight there is purely that some people who have come into this for the first time will not pay us. We are looking, as it says, to look from deductions from benefit and clearly highlight how long that will take. Where people don't contact us and we can't identify, there is the potential to use bailiffs. We have an agreed bailiff contract, and it is actually due for renewal next year, so we'll go out for tender. So we do only use accredited bailiffs, and the bailiff firms are under contract. We do have a policy about vulnerability. It is there, they ascribe to it. It's mainly the same as most other authorities have in this kind of field of collecting the council tax. Clearly with these people who are our first ever
They are the people that we are trying to discuss with, to try and make them engage with us, to try and get them onto deductions and benefits, although clearly that does take longer to collect.
So at the moment, is this a little bit of an unknown quantity?
It is. Council tax support people of working age. There's about 15,000 of them. To answer your question, I don't know how many of them ultimately won't pay. We do know that since this report was written, we've already done another major trawl. I know there's just over 3,000 have been subject to summons recovery action, and they're the ones that we are then trying to get information in to try and move them on to deductions and benefits. And to explain, deductions and benefits means that we contact the DWP, they will then set up a £3.65 weekly deduction from their current benefit entitlement that they will pay over every 4 weeks to us. And that is what we are trying to make sure. There are a number of these 15,000 who are actually making payment to us already, but clearly a lot of them aren't, because these are the ones who for years have paid nothing, and they are now facing approximately £220 a year to pay for us. So that is the first way we are trying to get them onto deductions from benefits.
Page 66. Sales traffic. Best use of movements. Details of how to set movements around ourselves. I'll say we will be achieved also finalised. Just wondering if there's time.
Thanks, Chair. The asset management plan is part of the transformation projects and is due to be pulled in the next cycle of cabinet.
Yeah, just on page 69, your discussion about the tables. The council has 2.293 million. It's got more discretionary out of there. It's getting the 13 months, it's got £80,000. And it says that it's expected will use the full government contribution by the end of the year. I think it's going to have £200,000 a month used by the end of the year. Is that right? Is that what we're saying?
Effectively, when at the 30th of June, yes, that was the amount that we had spent. We also have another amount that we are committed to pay you as a benefit recipient for the rest of the year. So that then adds up from memory to about £300,000. What we also have is a number of registered social landlord tenants who have applied. We've asked for more information, and we do actually expect to pay. But effectively, it's not the 2.2 million that we are saying we will likely spend. It's the 917. Although since the 917 was put into this report, the government announced additional funding, which is another 64,000, and we still await as to the application process to apply for the additional 20 million that is going to be considered. Pro rata, that's about another 125,000 if it was done. So effectively that would give us potentially up to 1.1 million. But we are projecting at this time with the additional applications that are coming in that although we've only paid out 79,000, come the end of the year we will be very close to the level of 900 plus.
Just for some of the families, is it right to be backdate payments as well? So somebody has had to make payments that you backdate?
Again, through you, Chair, it doesn't have to be backdated from the 1st of April. It will be when we believe that change should be implemented. So, again, I can't say yes or no. It will be dependent on the individual case. But yes, we do have the ability to go back to the 1st of April for case warranted.
I think this is the top. It's the table at the top of page 68. I think I've got a head around what it's trying to tell us, but I don't understand the line relating to transformation. So there's the first reminder figure of over £1 million, £1.5 million. The second reminder is only £500,000. And then the third reminder is £9 million. And I just wonder how those reminders relate to one another.
Was it beautiful?
This is a breakdown various areas that are now within this department. So effectively the way the line works out is that that means that there are £9.5 million is on third reminder or worse, which can be legal action, potentially that no recovery action will be taken. So looking at those, that's where that one is for our transformation areas. I haven't got the details as to what that £9.5 million is or what particular area of transformation resources it is, but that's what that means, that they are further down the recovery line or potentially waiting for a potential write-off. They will be there, but that line should add up to £16.2 million.
Phil, sorry.
Can I ask one supplementary? Can you give me a ballpark around what transformation those facilitators are?
It's all the areas that our department covers, so that will be anything that we raise potentially that is on the accounts receivable system. So for instance, housing benefit overpayments where it's not being collected, that will be a large one. The one I was desperately trying to think is as to where Merseyside Pension Fund actually use our accounts receivable system. As they're not listed separately, I suspect they may be in transformation and resources because it's part of Joe's remit. So it will be anything with payroll where we've got previous people. That will be anything that is within the legal area that they deal with. So commercial rents, anything that is done by those. All of that is under transformation and resources.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Just really following up something that Mr. Falcon said when he was talking about discretionary housing payments. I want to read here and perhaps get some more detail. In July, the government was potentially to enact now an increase in the sums available for discretionary housing payments from 60 to 155 million. And the councils were asked to apply, or at least there was publicity about it being available to apply. Some was from rural areas, and some you would get if you did a lot of work to set out a case to show you were managing the system effectively, efficiently, and all this and this. Oh, it's that phrase. But I really wanted to just hear what Malcolm was saying, that we didn't think we yet got to the process of being able to make that application. I'm not sure where the sticking point is. I'm assuming we've got data which shows we run the system effectively and all the rest of it. But what Malcolm was saying, I don't think we may yet being asked for the evidence on that, which is disturbing since those of us want to get the money to the people who need it, if we can get that, hasn't it?
Through you, Chair, the DWP have not released the procedure yet for the £20 million process. As to the reason why, I don't know. They are probably looking at how best to do that. The other two areas, as you mentioned, the 10 million, which is where we've got 64,000, is already there. We are being paid for that. The rural ones are being contacted separately in 15. The £20 million one hasn't been released yet, and clearly we would hope to be able to show that we robustly monitor and pay out on this system to be able to apply. However, I would say that I would expect every local authority will be trying to show that precisely the same, which is why I try and say what pro rata, about 125,000 is probably, if they do go to a pro rata system, we await the application process still from the DWP.
Question from me, but first I think the position of clear consistency, 246,000 spent compared to the situation we were in last year. I've got a couple of questions surrounding the bedroom tax. Right, the figures as of 30th of June, there's 4,197 people affected. That's know what the percentages are, and also are we seeing an increase in applicants for the local housing allowance?
On the number of people, sorry to yes, 4,100. As far as I'm aware, the numbers are still reducing slightly, mainly through identification of carers and also with regards to disabled. Those numbers have moved slowly down. I haven't got the figures as to which ones have dropped either the 1 bed or 2 bed. Clearly, the 2-bedroom ones do not fall into no reduction. They tend to drop into the only 1-bedroom reduction. So yes, those numbers are still going down as we work through and contact them. The other one with regards to local housing allowance, you said is there more people?
Yeah, we're going to see the movies. So
Do you mean discretionary housing?
no, the housing allowance may indicate a move through the social sector into the private sector.
Sorry, Jim, yes. No, I don't have any figures as to the numbers of people who are moving on into LHA in the private sector. If you wish, we can look at that and report back at the next committee to show what kind of movement there's been. We do keep statistics on a quarterly basis with regards to particularly the under occupancy one, so we can compare that with total figures in those areas and put that together in paragraph for you in the next month's report.
Thank you. No further questions or recommendations? Agreed? Agreed. Okay. So we've got agenda item 6. Now on agenda item 7, the programme. Anyone have comments? Okay. I'll ask members that obviously involved with piece of work